Have you ever noticed how something as simple as getting up from a chair or walking across the room feels harder than it used to? Maybe you've woken up more nights than you'd like, tossing and turning, or found yourself forgetting little things that once came easily. You might think, that's just aging. But what if it's not as inevitable as we believe? Many of us quietly accept these changes, not realizing they could be signs that affect how long and how well we live. It's easy to overlook these small struggles, but they hold powerful clues about our health and future. In this video, we'll explore 7 surprising signs that scientists say can predict your longevity after 70, and more importantly, what you can do about them. So, let's walk this journey together, with hope and practical wisdom to brighten each day ahead. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Walking ability and balance. There's a moment in many people's lives, often after turning 65, when the world feels just a little less steady. You might not even notice it at first. Maybe it's that split second of hesitation before you step off a curb, or the way you reach for the nearest chair, table, or even a loved one's arm for support as you walk through your living room. Sometimes, there's that odd feeling that your feet aren't quite keeping up with your intentions, and stairs seem taller than they used to be. It's so easy to brush these things off, to chalk them up as just part of getting older. After all, everyone expects a few aches and pains as the years go by, and it's almost a rite of passage to make a joke about the creaks and squeaks of aging when friends get together. But what if these subtle changes, this uncertainty in your steps, or those rare but unsettling moments of losing your balance, weren't simply the price of growing older? What if they were clues, whispering to you about your body's health and, in fact, your future? Most people assume that struggling with walking or keeping steady is simply unavoidable after a certain age, but that's not entirely true. What if I told you that walking ability and balance aren't just background details in your life's later chapters, but some of the most powerful indicators of how long and how well you'll live? Science has been quietly revealing this secret. Researchers have studied thousands of people well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond, looking for patterns that separate those who thrive from those who struggle. Over and over, they've found that one of the strongest predictors of longevity is something as simple and as profound as how well you move through your day. Your ability to walk, stand, and keep your balance is about much more than mobility. It's a sign of your body's overall strength, the health of your nerves and muscles, and your resilience against illness and injury. Here's the science in everyday language. As we age, our muscles naturally lose some strength, and our reaction times can slow down a bit. But if those changes become too pronounced, or if we stop challenging our bodies, something dangerous can happen. The risk of falls skyrockets. Falling is one of the leading causes of hospital visits for seniors in the U.S., and a single bad fall can change everything, stealing away independence, health, and confidence in an instant. But that's not all. Walking ability and balance are tied to brain health, heart health, and even your risk of developing chronic illnesses. When your legs and balance are strong, your heart pumps better, your brain gets more blood flow, and you're more likely to stay sharp and engaged with the world around you. The good news, truly the best news, is that you can improve your walking ability and balance at any age. You don't need fancy equipment, expensive trainers, or even a gym membership. The most powerful tool you have is your commitment to moving just a little more every single day. Start with simple changes. Take a daily walk, even if it's just around your block or through the halls of your apartment building. If you feel unsteady, use a cane, walker, or the support of a friend. There's no shame in using help if it keeps you moving. Try standing on one foot while holding the kitchen counter, or practice sitting and standing from a sturdy chair without using your hands. Tai Chi and gentle yoga are wonderful too. These activities have been shown to boost balance and confidence. I want to share a real story with you, One I think you might recognize in your own life. There's a gentleman named Frank who lives a few houses down from me. Frank's in his late 70s and always seemed active, but a couple of years ago, he slipped on his front steps and spent a month recovering from a broken ankle. He told me that, for the first time in his life, he was scared to walk alone. But Frank didn't give up. With the encouragement of his doctor and his daughter, he started going on short, careful walks. At first, he used a walker and needed to rest every block. Then, slowly, he regained strength. Today, Frank joins a small group of neighbors for a walk every morning, rain or shine. He told me, "It's not just about my legs. My mind feels clearer, and I feel like myself again." Maybe you see yourself in Frank's story. Maybe your journey looks different. But wherever you are, remember, balance and strength are not lost all at once, and they're not lost forever. With patience and gentle practice, you can hold on to, or even rebuild, the confidence to move through your world. Every step you take is a step toward independence, connection, and joy. So here's my encouragement for you. Don't ignore those small signs. Don't accept instability as your fate. Take your walking ability and balance seriously, not as a problem, but as an opportunity. Your body, at any age, is capable of more than you realize. Let's promise each other to keep moving, keep reaching, and keep stepping forward, one steady, hopeful step at a time. 2. Muscle mass and strength. It's a quiet moment that sneaks up on most of us. A jar that won't open, a grocery bag that feels heavier than it used to, or arms that tire after folding laundry or carrying groceries to the car. Maybe you pause while putting away dishes or feel a tremble in your legs when standing up from a favorite recliner. These aren't dramatic events. They're so ordinary that we often laugh them off or chalk them up to just getting old. But if you look closer, these little struggles are trying to tell you something important about your body's inner workings, and maybe even your future. Most people believe that losing muscle is simply part of aging, a trade-off for the privilege of living longer. It's so common that we almost expect it. "Of course I'm weaker than I was at 40, we tell ourselves. But here's a question that challenges that familiar assumption. What if muscle loss isn't just an unavoidable fact of aging, but a sign, a warning, even, that deserves our attention? And what if you could slow, stop, or even reverse it, no matter your age? Here's where science paints a surprisingly hopeful picture. Studies across the United States and around the world have followed thousands of people into their 70s, 80s, and 90s, searching for the threads that connect longevity, health, and quality of life. Time and time again, researchers discover the same pattern. The people who live the longest, with the greatest independence, are often those who keep their muscles strong. Muscle mass isn't just for bodybuilders or athletes. It's a hidden reservoir of health that protects you from illness, helps you recover from injury, and even supports your immune system. You see, muscles do much more than help you lift or carry. They play a crucial role in your body's metabolism, balance, and even how well you can think and remember. When muscle strength fades, everything becomes harder. Walking, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, even standing up from a chair. That's why doctors now pay close attention to sarcopenia, the medical term for age-related muscle loss. Sarcopenia isn't inevitable, but it is serious. It's linked with higher risks of falls, fractures, hospitalizations, and a loss of independence. But here's the best part. Muscle loss is not a one-way street. No matter your age, you can regain strength. Muscles respond to effort, even gentle, regular effort. And you don't need a gym membership or heavy weights to see the benefits. Simple activities like lifting light hand weights, using resistance bands, or even practicing standing up from a chair without using your hands can make a real difference. Gardening, carrying groceries, playing with grandchildren, or doing housework all count as movement that keeps your muscles engaged. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take, for example, the story of Barbara, who lives in a small town in Indiana. Barbara always considered herself average when it came to exercise. She enjoyed walking but never saw herself as strong. After turning 70, she started noticing that tasks like carrying laundry up the stairs left her winded and weak. She shrugged it off, thinking it was normal, until one winter day when she slipped on the ice and struggled to get up. After that scare, her daughter encouraged her to try a simple strength training class at the local community center. Barbara was hesitant. She worried about looking silly or getting hurt, but she went anyway, figuring she had nothing to lose. The first class was hard. Her muscles trembled, and she felt self-conscious. But the instructor kept things gentle, focusing on small movements and building up slowly. After a few weeks, Barbara realized she could carry heavier grocery bags without stopping to rest. She felt steadier on her feet and even started sleeping better. Her doctor was thrilled, noting improvements in her balance and energy levels. "It's not just about muscles," Barbara said later. "It's about getting my life back, one small victory at a time." So what can you do, starting today, to nurture and protect your muscles? Begin with the simplest of steps. Move your body a little bit more each day. If you're able, try standing from a chair without using your hands, or walk a few extra steps each time you go to the kitchen or mailbox. Light hand weights or soup cans can be pressed overhead or lifted gently to keep your arms engaged. Resistance bands are cheap, safe, and easy to use for gentle strength exercises. If you have access to community classes for seniors, give them a try. They're not just for fitness, but for building friendships, too. Most importantly, don't let embarrassment or fear hold you back. It's never too late to start. Every bit of movement, every ounce of effort, sends a signal to your body, "I want to keep living fully." Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it may seem. And remember, regaining strength isn't about looking younger or impressing anyone. It's about reclaiming the confidence to do what matters most to you. If you're facing the frustration of feeling weaker than you used to, you're not alone. Listen to your body's quiet requests for more strength, and meet them with patience, gentleness, and hope. Your muscles are not just fading memories of youth. They are your allies, ready to support you in every season of life, for many more years to come. 3. Quality of sleep. For many people over 65, the night brings not only rest but sometimes a quiet kind of frustration. Maybe you found yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering why your mind won't settle, or waking up at dawn after only a handful of restless hours. Perhaps you drift off quickly, only to wake up again and again throughout the night, sometimes for reasons you can't quite explain. It's tempting to brush this off as just part of getting older, something everyone must endure. You might hear friends complain about sleepless nights or joke that they're becoming nocturnal, and it starts to feel normal, even inevitable, as the years go by. But let's pause and ask, is poor sleep simply a harmless annoyance, a little price to pay for aging? Or is it, in fact, a sign that your body and mind are asking for help? What if better sleep isn't just possible, but deeply important for your health, happiness, and even longevity? Scientists have spent years studying the connection between sleep and well-being, especially in older adults. The evidence is clear. Sleep is far more than a nightly timeout. It's a vital, restorative process that helps your body heal, your mind process memories, and your heart and immune system reset for the day ahead. When sleep quality suffers, it isn't only your energy the next day that takes a hit. Your whole body feels the effects. Research from major universities like Harvard and Johns Hopkins shows that chronic sleep problems are linked to increased risks of high blood pressure, memory loss, weakened immunity, and even shorter life expectancy. Good sleep, on the other hand, is connected to sharper thinking, better mood, healthier weight, and a stronger heart. Why does sleep become more fragile as we age? Part of it is biological. Changes in hormones, health conditions, and even certain medications can disrupt the natural rhythms that tell us when to feel sleepy or awake. The bladder seems less cooperative, aches and pains demand attention, and worries sometimes become louder in the stillness of night. For many, Habits like napping late in the day, drinking coffee after lunch, or spending too much time in front of screens can make matters worse without us even realizing it. But here's the hopeful truth. Improving your sleep is not out of reach, even if you've struggled for years. Simple, gentle changes can help your nights become more restful and your days more energetic. You don't need expensive gadgets or sleeping pills. Often, the most powerful solutions are small shifts in daily routines and mindset. Start by creating a calm, consistent bedtime ritual. Our bodies thrive on rhythm, so going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on weekends, can make a remarkable difference. Dim the lights an hour before bedtime, turn off the TV or tablet, and enjoy something relaxing, a cup of herbal tea, a warm bath, or a few pages of a favorite book. If you wake in the night, don't force yourself to lie awake and worry. Instead, get up, sit quietly in a chair, and read or listen to soft music until you feel drowsy again. Physical activity during the day, even just a walk around the block or some gentle stretching, helps your body feel naturally ready for rest. Avoid caffeine in the afternoon and limit alcohol before bed. It may help you fall asleep, but often leads to more wakefulness later in the night. And if anxious thoughts keep you awake, try writing them down in a journal or practicing a few minutes of deep breathing. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, Ruth, who once described herself as a lifelong insomniac. Ruth is 74 and has always been an early riser, but after retiring, she began sleeping poorly, waking up multiple times at night, exhausted by morning. She tried all sorts of remedies: sleeping pills, special pillows, even counting sheep. Nothing seemed to work for long. One day, her grandson gave her a journal and suggested she jot down her thoughts before bed. Skeptical, Ruth gave it a try. She also started taking a short walk each morning and set a firm bedtime for herself. Within a few weeks, she was falling asleep faster and waking less often. "I never believed small things could matter so much," she told me, "but now my nights feel peaceful again." If you're struggling with restless nights, please know you're not alone. Don't accept poor sleep as your fate or tell yourself it's something you just have to live with. Your body and mind deserve the healing power of true Re-T at any age. Start gently, with one new habit at a time, and notice how your energy, memory, and mood respond. Tonight, as you settle into rest, let the day's worries drift away and know that you are nurturing your health in the most natural way possible. Sleep is not just a luxury or an afterthought, it's a pillar of a long, joyful life. And every peaceful night is a quiet victory you deserve. 4. Mental and social well-being. It often starts quietly, a missed call you mean to return but never quite do, an invitation you turn down because you're just too tired today, or maybe the empty chair at the breakfast table after a spouse has passed away. For many older adults, loneliness creeps in not as a dramatic event but as a slow change in the rhythm of daily life. You might find yourself watching more television, feeling a bit less interested in hobbies you used to love, or struggling to remember the last time you had a real, heartfelt conversation with a friend. It's so common that it can seem like a normal part of growing older, a shadow that simply comes with age. But let's ask an important question. Is loneliness and withdrawal from social life just something we should accept as we get older? Or is it a sign that our mind and spirit need a little extra care? What if, instead of quietly slipping away from social life, we reached out, reconnected, and protected our mental well-being as fiercely as we do our physical health? Recent science tells us something powerful. Our mental and social well-being are deeply connected to how long and how joyfully we live. Studies from respected institutions like the National Institute on Aging have shown that seniors who stay socially engaged and mentally active tend to live longer, healthier lives. It's not just about keeping busy. Staying connected with others helps protect the brain, stave off memory loss, and even strengthens the immune system. Social isolation and chronic loneliness, on the other hand, have been linked to higher rates of depression, anxiety, and even increased risk for conditions like heart disease and dementia. Why does this happen? The answer is beautifully simple. As human beings, we are wired for connection. When we talk with others, laugh together, share our stories, and listen to those we care about, our brains release chemicals that boost our mood and reduce stress. Even gentle, regular social interactions, like chatting with a neighbor, calling a grandchild, or sharing a meal, can help the mind stay sharp and the heart feel light. And the good news is that these connections can be built and rebuilt at any age. So what can you do if you've been feeling a bit isolated, or if your world has gotten smaller in recent years? Start with small, gentle steps. Think about one person you haven't spoken with in a while and pick up the phone, even just to say hello. Consider joining a local club, class, or faith group. Community centers and libraries often have gatherings just for seniors, from book groups and knitting circles to walking clubs and coffee mornings. Technology can be a blessing, too. If you're comfortable, try video calls or join an online group for people with shared interests. The point isn't to fill every minute with activity, but to make room for genuine connection and shared joy. Let me tell you about Mr. Samuels, who lives in a quiet town in Ohio. After his wife passed away, the days seemed to blur together. He spent more time alone and started feeling more anxious, sometimes forgetting little things that had always come easily. One afternoon, a neighbor invited him to a weekly dominoes game at the local rec center. Samuel hesitated. He wasn't sure he'd enjoy it or fit in. But he decided to go, if only to watch. Soon, he found himself laughing at stories, learning the game, and slowly, week by week, his mood and memory improved. "I thought my best days were behind me," he later shared. "But it turns out, there's still plenty of life and friendship ahead." If you're worried that your social world has grown too quiet, or you're feeling blue more often than before, remember, it's never too late to reach out. You are not alone, even if it sometimes feels that way. Just one new connection, one fresh conversation, can make all the difference. Your life story is not finished, and there are people, friends, neighbors, even strangers, who would be grateful for your presence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So here's my gentle encouragement. Don't let embarrassment, fear, or old routines keep you isolated. Say yes to an invitation, or make one yourself. Try something new, or revisit an old favorite pastime. Reach out, even if your hand trembles a little. The simple act of connecting, of sharing your wisdom, laughter, and kindness, brings light not just to your life but to others as well. Nurture your mind and your heart by staying socially engaged and mentally active. Whether through a puzzle, a chat, a walk, or a shared meal, these small efforts add up to a life that is not just long, but rich and full. You are valued, you are needed, and you are never truly alone. Every day is a new opportunity for connection and meaning. Embrace it with hope, and let yourself be surprised by the joy that follows. 5. Healthy diet. For many older adults, the kitchen holds more than just ingredients. It holds memories. You might recall your mother's famous Sunday roast, the scent of fresh bread on the counter, or the family dinners where laughter mingled with the clinking of silverware. Yet, as the years go by, the way we eat often becomes quieter, maybe simpler, and sometimes less intentional. Maybe you've noticed that some days, it feels easier to microwave a frozen meal or snack on crackers rather than cook a real dinner. Perhaps you find yourself reaching for sweets or salty treats out of habit or comfort, not hunger. After all, it's easy to think, I've earned the right to eat what I want at my age. Or, it's just a little snack, how much could it matter? But here's a question worth considering. Is diet just a small piece of the puzzle, or could what you put on your plate today have a profound impact on how you feel and how long you live tomorrow? Many people quietly assume that it's too late for food to make a difference, or that changing eating habits after 65 is just too much trouble. Yet research says otherwise. Small changes in what we eat, at any age, can create big results for both our health and our happiness. Science shows us that our bodies, even in later years, are remarkably responsive to the food we eat. Large studies, including those from the National Institutes of Health and the American Heart Association, have found that older adults who follow a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, like fish and chicken, and healthy fats, such as olive oil and nuts, are more likely to stay active, mentally sharp, and free of chronic diseases. A healthy diet doesn't just help manage weight, it supports heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens bones, and even helps memory. Conversely, diets high in processed foods, added sugars, and sodium can quietly undermine your energy, sleep, and immune system. But knowing what's healthy and making it happen are two different things, especially if you're cooking for one, on a budget, or coping with health issues that make shopping and meal prep more challenging. The good news is that you don't need gourmet recipes or expensive ingredients to nourish yourself well. The best choices are often the simplest and most familiar. Here are some gentle ways to make your diet work for you. Start with small swaps. Maybe switch out white bread for whole grain, or add an extra serving of steamed veggies to your plate. Try making a big pot of soup or stew at the start of the week, packed with beans, carrots, and leafy greens, so there's always something easy and nourishing in the fridge. Keep handy snacks like fresh fruit, yogurt, or a handful of nuts nearby so you're less tempted by cookies or chips. Hydration matters too. Sip water throughout the day, and limit sodas or overly sweet drinks. Don't forget that food is meant to be enjoyed. Eating is not just about nutrients and numbers. It's about comfort, pleasure, and sometimes sharing. If you're feeling isolated, try inviting a neighbor over for coffee or bringing a simple dish to a community potluck. Sharing meals can turn an ordinary day into a special one, and conversation is just as important to well-being as the food itself. Let me tell you about Grace, a widow from Pennsylvania who spent years relying on frozen dinners after her husband passed away. She found it hard to cook for one and gradually lost her interest in meals. One afternoon, her granddaughter suggested they cook together. They started simple: scrambled eggs, salads, and homemade vegetable soup. Grace was surprised at how much better she felt. More energy, less heartburn, and even a brighter mood. The best part, she said, was having someone to share a meal and a story with. She now makes a point to cook 1 or 2 fresh meals a week and invites friends from church to join her whenever possible. If you're facing your kitchen challenges, tired of the same foods, overwhelmed by recipes, or simply lacking motivation, remember that you are not alone, and you don't need to overhaul your whole diet overnight. Start with one small change and celebrate your progress. Maybe today it's an apple instead of a cookie, or a bowl of hearty soup instead of takeout. Every bite you choose with care is a gift to your future self. So here's my encouragement. Don't underestimate the quiet power of your daily meals. You are never too old to benefit from healthy eating, and the effort you make today will reward you with more energy, a stronger body, and a clearer mind tomorrow. Food can be your medicine, your comfort, and your connection to the people and memories you cherish most. Eat with joy, eat with intention, and let your plate be a reflection of your love for life. One meal, one day at a time. 6. Managing chronic conditions effectively. If you've ever stood at the kitchen counter, sorting a week's worth of pill bottles or scanning a doctor's instructions for the 3rd time, you know that living with chronic health conditions can feel overwhelming. High blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, these aren't just words on a medical chart. They shape your days and, at times, your hopes for tomorrow. Maybe you find yourself planning outings around medication schedules, or you hesitate to accept an invitation because you're worried about a sudden flare-up. It's easy, after a while, to believe that managing these conditions is simply about getting by, accepting a life that feels smaller or more restricted than before. But here's a thought that might surprise you. Does having a chronic illness truly mean your best days are behind you? Or could learning to manage these conditions, gently, persistently, and with self-compassion, open the door to more vibrant, fulfilling years ahead? Medical research from the Mayo Clinic and the CDC is clear. Effectively managing chronic conditions isn't just about taking medicine, it's about empowering yourself. People who stay engaged in their care, keep up with checkups, and make mindful adjustments to their lifestyle often live not just longer, but better. When you manage your conditions well, you lower your risk of complications like heart attacks, strokes, infections, or mobility loss. You also preserve your energy, mood, and independence. The difference isn't just in the numbers on a chart, but in the quality of your mornings, the steadiness of your steps, and the hope you carry in your heart. Why is it so important to take an active role? Chronic diseases may have become more common with age, but letting them go unchecked can quietly steal your joys, limiting what you eat, where you go, and even how you sleep. But with small, steady actions, taking medications as prescribed, tracking your blood sugar, or checking your blood pressure, you take back a measure of control. Think of it as tuning up a classic car. With a little extra care and regular attention, it will run better and take you further down the road. What are some gentle, practical ways to make a difference? Start by keeping an updated list of your medications and bringing it to each doctor visit. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Your medical team wants to help, and no concern is too small. If you notice new symptoms, bring them up early rather than waiting for your next appointment. Keep a calendar or set phone reminders for medications, and don't skip doses, even on good days. If a certain treatment isn't working, or you're struggling with side effects, speak up. There are often alternatives. Daily habits matter, too. Simple routines like checking your blood pressure at home, keeping an eye on your blood sugar, or noting how you feel after a meal or activity can provide valuable information for your care team, and you. Make gentle, positive changes to your lifestyle. Choose meals that support your health, move your body as much as your condition allows, and get plenty of rest. Even if mobility is limited, chair exercises, stretches, or gentle walks around the block can support circulation and mood. Let me share the story of Mr. Thompson, a retired teacher in Minnesota, who was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure in his late 60s. At first, he felt discouraged. Measuring his blood sugar felt like a burden, and changing his diet seemed daunting. But after a heart-to-heart with his granddaughter, who reminded him how much his presence meant to the family, he decided to take a different approach. He met with a nutritionist, started attending a local diabetes support group, and began walking every morning, even if just for 10 minutes. He kept a journal of his readings and moods, which helped him and his doctor adjust his care. Over time, his energy returned, and his doctor was able to lower some of his medication doses. Most importantly, Mr. Thompson began to feel like an active participant in his health, not just a bystander. If you sometimes feel frustrated, tired, or even defeated by your health challenges, know that you're not alone. Many people carry the same worries and wonder if their efforts are worth it. But every small step you take, every meal chosen wisely, every medication taken on time, every walk around the block, is a powerful act of self-care and resilience. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Here's my encouragement for you. Don't settle for simply getting by. Advocate for yourself, ask for help when you need it, and believe in your ability to make a difference, no matter where you start. Managing chronic conditions isn't about perfection. It's about progress, about choosing hope and effort every day. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and remember, you are more than your diagnoses. You have the strength, wisdom, and courage to write new, joyful chapters in your story, starting right now. 7. Simple biological indicators, BMI and blood pressure. Sometimes it's the smallest things in life that carry the biggest meaning. A quiet moment in the morning when you check your blood pressure, or that quick calculation at the doctor's office when they mention your BMI, your body mass index. For many seniors, these numbers have become a routine part of checkups, just another box to tick before getting back to real life. Maybe you've sat in a waiting room, listening as your doctor rattles off your weight or blood pressure, and thought, does any of this matter now? Perhaps, with so many other things to focus on, you've wondered if it's worth paying much attention to these little indicators. But let's pause for a moment and consider a question that's easy to overlook. Could these simple numbers, BMI and blood pressure, really tell us something important about how long and how well we'll live? What if, instead of seeing them as just statistics, we thought of them as helpful guides, quiet signals pointing us toward a healthier, happier future? Science gives us a clear answer. Decades of research from institutions like the American Heart Association and the CDC have shown that maintaining a healthy BMI and keeping blood pressure in check are two of the most reliable predictors of long-term health and longevity, especially after 65. These numbers aren't just boxes to check, they are windows into how your body is working behind the scenes. A healthy BMI indicates that your weight is balanced for your height, helping your heart, joints, and organs work smoothly. Blood pressure, that quiet rhythm of your arteries, tells a story about how hard your heart is working and whether your blood vessels are open and healthy. Why do these two measurements matter so much? When BMI creeps too high, it puts strain on your heart and increases the risk for diabetes, arthritis, and certain cancers. If it drops too low, it can signal malnutrition, frailty, or even muscle loss. Meanwhile, high blood pressure, sometimes called the silent killer, can quietly damage arteries and organs for years before symptoms show up, raising the risk of strokes, heart attacks, and kidney disease. Yet, here's the encouraging truth. Even small improvements in these numbers can add years to your life and keep you feeling better day to day. So what can you do, gently and practically, to keep your BMI and blood pressure in a healthy range? It starts with awareness. Don't be afraid to ask your doctor what your numbers are and what they mean for you. If your BMI is higher or lower than recommended, talk about small, sustainable changes to your eating and activity habits. Focus on adding, not subtracting. More vegetables and fruit, more water, more walks or gentle stretches. If you need to lose a few pounds, remember that slow and steady changes last longer and feel better than crash diets. For blood pressure, simple habits can make a world of difference. Reduce salt by cooking more at home and tasting before reaching for the shaker. Stay active in whatever way feels comfortable. Walking, gardening, or even chair exercises count. Try to manage stress with deep breathing, music, or time spent with loved ones. If your doctor prescribes medication, take it faithfully and keep track of how you feel. I'd like to share the story of Helen, an 81-year-old from Georgia. Helen used to think that worrying about numbers was a young person's game. After her husband passed, she let go of routines, ate what she wanted, skipped walks, and only saw her doctor when necessary. One day, after feeling dizzy in her garden, she visited her doctor and learned that her blood pressure was dangerously high, and her BMI had crept up since her last visit. With her daughter's encouragement, Helen decided to make gentle changes. She started checking her blood pressure at home and swapped out her nightly chips for an apple. She began joining her neighbor for short evening strolls. Over several months, her numbers improved, and so did her confidence. "I feel like I'm back in charge of my own life," she says, smiling. If you've ever felt overwhelmed or discouraged by these medical numbers, please know you're not alone. No one expects perfection, especially as the years go by. What matters is paying attention, asking questions, and making small, loving changes that honor your health. So here's my encouragement for you. See your BMI and blood pressure as friendly check-ins, not judgments. Let them guide you gently toward choices that keep your body and spirit strong. Celebrate every small victory, whether it's a better reading at your next visit, a new healthy recipe, or a peaceful walk around the block. Your health is a lifelong story, and these numbers are just part of the conversation. A way for you to listen, adjust, and keep moving forward with hope. You have the power to shape your journey, one thoughtful choice at a time. As we come to the end of this journey together, I hope you've discovered that the path to a longer, happier life isn't paved with impossible demands or rigid rules. It's shaped by small, meaningful choices each day. From steadying your steps and nurturing your muscles to enjoying restful sleep, staying connected, choosing wholesome foods, managing your health conditions, and paying attention to those simple numbers at the doctor's office, every action you take is a powerful investment in your future. Aging isn't about losing possibilities. It's about discovering new strengths, adapting with wisdom, and embracing each season of life with hope. You are not alone in your challenges. Millions of others are walking this path right alongside you, learning, growing, and finding joy in the journey. Remember, it's never too late to make a change, no matter how small. The most important thing is to keep moving forward. One gentle step, one healthy meal, one phone call to a friend at a time. If this video has helped you see your own story in a new light, I'd love to hear what resonated most with you. What's one thing you learned today that you'd like to put into practice? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your wisdom and experiences can inspire others, too. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we can build a community where every person over 65 feels seen, valued, and empowered to live their very best life. Thank you for being here. Wishing you health, happiness, and many bright days ahead.